Hey guys, how you going? Okay, we're going to get back into it. You know what I noticed yesterday? You know why I wrote this was ridiculous as a title? Because I think Hev123 Truthseeker was being something's being hidden. I can't see a lot of the news I can see on my other account. Anyway, Polybard said pretty much every Aussie aged 50 plus who knows who Lindy Chamberlain is, and a lot of the world as well, a mother accused of killing her child. Remember a dingo ate my baby? Okay? But bugger all Aussies could name the woman who did this. The media was all over it until her Indigenous status became known, and then the story vanished hard. Why? The Guardian. Queensland. Mother arrested for murder after 8 children stabbed to death in Cairns. Okay, well, apparently she was Indigenous, so it disappeared. Why? I know why, but I mean, I'm just asking, you know. Because she was Indigenous. We need to know. People need to know things, because how else are you going to help people if you don't know? You know, I mean, how do you get to this point? I'll never understand it. But anyway, Salty Texan said, just a reminder, he should be prosecuted for retaining classified documents, but the DOJ doubted that he was legally competent to stand trial. Well, if he's not legally competent to stand trial, what's he doing running the free world? Why is he president of the United States if he is not competent to stand trial? Someone make it make sense, because I can't. Eric Matheny said, where are the dishevelled fat guys that normally make up hate groups? All these guys are young, clean-cut with fresh clothes, and are slim. The feds couldn't have found some crisis actors? No, they had to just use their own people. Seriously, if they're saying the white supremacists, right? These are the white supremacists, right? All masked, except this guy here. Wouldn't it be easy to find him? But anyway, oh, that can't be serious. Let's have a listen.
So we are here, Patriot Front is here in Charleston, West Virginia. We have marched through downtown, and we are currently marching on our way to the state capital of West Virginia. We've had a lot of positive receptions. We've had a lot of very distant interest from the police, if you see them over there. And we have had a lot of flyers handed out to people. We're going to give a great speech at the Capitol. Stay tuned for more updates.
Number one, the police know who you are. That's why they're staying clear, right? And the second thing is this the FBI's marching band? Get ready, listen to this.
Go home.
Oh my God.
Reclaim America! Reclaim America! Reclaim America! Reclaim America! Fight! Liberty! Victory! Life!
How many organic protesters do you know that have drums and sing like that or chant like that? Yeah, I don't know any. Anyway, Dagsy said, take note, Albo. Bishop hits out at Albanese over freedom of speech as he returns to work. This bishop is going at Albanese for freedom of speech. Okay, so that's what he's doing now. First it was, you need real men. This is Bishop Mari Emmanuel. Questions free speech in Australia in his first day back at work on Western Sydney church altar. Yeah, because this half-wit here, she wants to you to think that the police are the only ones who have the truth. Yeah, and the government, of course. Andy Knows said a non-binary Liberal public library worker from Addison, Illinois, was arrested on suspicion of 7 felony child crime charges. Oh, Sex crime charges. Stephen Craig is accused of uploading child abuse content on Discord and X and possessing the content on his devices. How many non-binary people is it going to take for people to understand what the non-binary is going to be linked with? I'm wondering then how many of these trend followers are going to want to identify as non-binary when they keep coming out like this. I really want to know. My grandson's life. He's in year 6 at school and they're practicing socialism. He works really hard and does all his schoolwork, and he was complaining that the people who do nothing are getting equal grades and he's actually losing grades. So what they're doing is they're evening out the grades in the classroom. Socialism. Okay, Rad here said, good morning, governments, bureaucrats, big pharma, justice system elites, keep making wrong decisions because somehow they are executive from consequences. We see it happening almost every day now. Pets are protected, poisons pushed, degeneracy promoted, our rights taken away. We live in evil times. Do not comply. And Thomas Sowell said, it's hard to imagine a more stupid or more dangerous way of making decisions than by putting those decisions in the hands of people who pay no price for being wrong. And I have to agree with that. Jack Pozo said, Spain's socialist prime minister just announced he may step down tomorrow. Corruption investigation into his wife just opened. Oh, what do you know? That can cause it. Andy No said police arrest dozens of extremists who set up an unsanctioned Gaza encampment at Arizona State University. ASU says most of the suspects are not part of ASU's student body or facility. I can tell you who they are. It starts with an A and ends with an A. Antifa. Libs of TikTok said Twitter removed the ability to hide if you're paying for Twitter. Guess who was paying all along while mocking others for paying and demanding to know how much people were making? Taylor Lorenz. Bloody hypocrite. Bruce Bellow said Democrats will lie, cheat, steal, kill to stay in power, evil, evil, evil. Colin Rugg said new OnlyFans creator Farha Khalidi says she was paid by the Biden admin to spread political propaganda and was told not to disclose her videos were ads. Everything about him is fake. Khalidi says the admin reached out to her because they wanted someone with darker skin sharing propaganda for Biden. I was doing full-on political propaganda, she said of her TT videos. TikTok, I think. The funny thing is they're like, do not disclose this is an ad because technically it's not a product, so you don't have to disclose it's an ad. Biden's so popular, he has to pay people to support him.
I started TikTok like the spring semester of my senior year, and I was like, fuck, I finally have to start applying for law school. And then, like, you know, female privilege, life is so easy for a, woman. Obviously, I lucked out. I'm just kidding. I lucked out. And then, TikTok was basically full time for me. I think I was taking ads by the time I graduated college from like the Biden administration and Planned Parenthood and like dating apps and stuff. So it was like fully financially, sustaining
So you were
me.
getting, the Biden administration was buying ads from you?
Yeah, I was doing full on political propaganda.
And they would really? With like what kind of, like, Biden created 10 million jobs this year?
Yeah, honestly. And the funny thing is they're like, do not disclose this is an ad because, they're like, technically it's not a product. So you don't have to disclose it's an ad. Because I think they just wanted like some edgy girl of color to just tell people, like when they nominated like Ketanji Brown Jackson, they're like, can you say like as a person of color, that you feel reflected? And it's like a white woman emailing this to me, and she's like giving me this script, and I'm like, no. And she's like, please. And I'm like, no, I'll like talk about the news of it, but I'm not gonna be like, I'm not gonna have a white person tell me to be like, this is how I feel as a person of color. Like, it's just so, I think that black-pilled me slightly on like, political propaganda stuff.
So the Biden administration sees, here's this young,
yeah, I mean, they use like a conduit. It's not like, you know what I mean? It's not Biden, but it's like a third party. You know what I mean? It's like a media company that's doing it on his behalf. I'm not blaming him for this.
Yeah, and the message is like, because you're a dark-skinned woman, you will be inspired by Ketanji Brown Jackson and all the kids should support her.
Yeah, they're like basically as like another black person, just say that like you feel reflected by Ketanji. I'm like, no, I'll talk about like Ketanji's background and her accomplishments, but like I never, you know what I mean? Like I'm not gonna say like the corny stuff. Even if it was a brown person emailing it to me, I'm like, no, that's not like how I feel. Like I don't look at like Ketanji and feel like, wow.
Yeah. See, yeah.
There you go.
I started TikTok like
Interesting.
the
It's not OnlyFans. Isn't she TikTok? Isn't that what she... I didn't hear her say OnlyFans. I don't know. Maybe, but I didn't hear her say that. And she did say it was the media. But, you know, they're all connected. Eric Matheny said the Biden admin will casually brush off inflation till it reaches a point where it can't be ignored. Then they'll present a solution that involves government control over the cost of goods. This is how socialism works. Invent a problem, propose government as the solution. Come on, man, said Albo, yelled at the organiser of the Violence Against Women rally. I'm the Prime Minister and I run this country. Just a putrid bully, and of course he'll gaslight the poor woman today and deny he abused her. Mean Girls, Katie Gallagher here, was standing beside him and supported his attack. Here she is here. Now, I've got it on video, so we'll have a look at that in a minute. But these people are absolute pieces of crap. James Woods said Harvard students take down the American flag and replace it with a Palestinian flag. I hereby declare on oath that I absolutely and entirely renounce and abjure all allegiance and fidelity to any foreign prince, potentate, state, or sovereignty, of whom or which I will have heretofore been a subject or citizen, that I will support and defend the Constitution and laws of the United States of America against all enemies, foreign and domestic. So, aren't they occupying themselves? Anyway, funny that. And another thing about this here, where is it? Oh, and I think Antifa. There's members running the government. That's who these people are. Polybard said, "Oh, hi, Albo MP. Try not to make any women cry today, hey?" Trending in Australia, worst PM. And this is the girl, I believe, one of the organisers. Just because you are the Prime Minister of the country does not mean you get to use your title to scare a young woman into letting you speak. To have him hear my lived experience, see my vulnerability, and then have the audacity to lie was appalling. I burst into tears right next to him. The fact that you continued to speak and didn't mention me once or apologise was appalling. You walked to that stage and listed your achievements to try and save yourself. The rallies were created because you aren't doing enough. And that's from one of the ladies. Drew Hernandez said, I absolutely love watching these universities collapse at the hands of the destructive monsters they created. Look, it looks like the left are turning on the left. That's what it looks like to me. Elon Musk said, make comedy legal again. Let's have a listen to Jerry Seinfeld. It's only him talking. It's not actually the video. So
it used to be you would go home at the end of the day. Most people would go, oh, Cheers is on. Oh, MASH is on. Oh, Mary Tyler Moore is on. All in the Family's on. You just expected there'll be some funny stuff we can watch on TV tonight. Well, guess what? Where is it? Where is it? This is the result of the extreme left and PC crap and people worrying so much about offending other people. Mm-hmm. Now they're going to see stand-up comics because we are not policed by anyone. The audience polices us. We know when we're off track. Mm-hmm. We know instantly, and we adjust to it instantly. But when you write a script and it goes into 4 or 5 different hands, committees, groups, here's our thought about this joke, well, that's the end of your comedy.
Have you had that experience?
No.
Because isn't that what Curb is all about?
Yeah, Larry
Basically-
was grandfathered in. He's old enough that I don't have to observe those rules because I started before you made those rules.
So there you go. Comedy.
It used to be you would go home with the
I don't know. There's nothing funny on TV anymore, ever. I can't even watch TV. Unless they do old reruns of, you know, all the Seinfeld and all those things. And even go back further. Malcolm Roberts said, meanwhile, back home here in Australia, the Labor government is causing a housing crisis, a cost of living crisis, an energy crisis. And yet, despite the tent cities, Labor doesn't grasp the old adage that charity begins at home. Australians versus the agenda. Breaking. Australia has officially broken the $1 billion threshold of funding and military support to Ukraine, as Defence Minister Richard Marles announces his next tranche of support to Ukraine, stating that it is by no means the end when it comes to our country funding wars. Why? We have nothing to do with Ukraine. Look, seriously, these are Antifa people running our government. It just seems that way to me. It's just my opinion. Andy No said, when Trump won the election in 2016, many Liberals became increasingly comfortable with the far-left statements about violence and killing people they labelled as white supremacists and Nazis. That same logic was used by Kamani James, a trans BLM activist, to say that Zionists should be taken out because he believes Zionists are also Nazis and white supremacists. What? One of the far-left lead student organisers at the Columbia University encampment of Gaza recorded a live stream saying that Zionists, along with all white supremacists, need to be killed. Kamani James, pronouns he, they, she, shim, says the public should be thankful he has not gone out to take them out yet. This is a threat. Sorry. Let's have a listen to what this half-wit says.
If we can agree as a society, as a collective, that people that...
I'm not a collective, sorry. Thank you very much. Not with half the world the way it is.
Some persons need to die if they have an ideology that results in the death of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions. If there are people...
Hello? You're talking about the same thing. How much of a hypocrite can you be? You're calling for the death of a lot of people. All the whites, all the... Because the only Nazis I can see are the ones that the feds are arranging. Seriously.
Like that who exist, shouldn't they die? Zionists, they're Nazis. They're Nazis. They're fascists. They're supporters of genocide. Why would we want people who are supporters of genocide to live?
You're saying the same thing. Oh my God. You're doing the same thing. So does that mean you should not be allowed to live? I'm just stating what I'm seeing. Oh my God.
I'm confused.
So am I. I don't think they see it. I don't think they understand what they're saying and then listening to themselves.
Someone in the chat right now, should people who are supporters of genocide, should Zionists, aka Nazis, white supremacists, should they live? Should they live?
Look, I understand there's a problem with people, right? And it's not the innocent people. It is the people in charge that are doing all this. So why you want to take out the whole group of people? Because the people in charge are doing something.
Zionists, along with all white supremacists, need to not exist because they actively kill and harm vulnerable people.
Okay, what about the Palestinians and Hamas bombing? I mean, like, this takes two sides, guys.
They stop the world from progressing. Oh, okay. Thank you. What? Thank you. And so, be glad, be grateful that I'm not just going out and murdering Zionists.
Oh dear. I don't know, the lack of self-awareness here is quite astounding. I mean, I have it too sometimes, but not like this, not this bad. Sometimes my lack of self-awareness can also, you know, like I go, I'm sick, yeah, because you smoke, you know. I know that. But anyway, the lack of self-awareness here, I cannot continue. It's not like, oh, this is just, I think actually this is going to be, this is going to turn on them. They're going to, like, it's all turning on each other. Like the left is starting to eat each other. Big Bird said, check out Punter Politics' video on TikTok. Albo MP, why do we get so little revenue for our gas? If we're going to go in green, why are we exporting gas to China, yet it's not good for the climate? No, it's only not good for our climate, okay? It's all right for, you know, China to do it. That's fine. Okay, let's see.
Oi, what are you doing?
Our video got taken down.
The one that got shared over like 30,000 times and got 1 million plus views.
Yeah.
What? I was just asking my mate Mr. Q in Qatar how much tax he paid. How much was it again? 0. Because Qatar is one of the world's largest exporters of natural gas.
Uh-huh.
And then I discovered that Australia actually exports more gas than Qatar. But the Qatari government got $76 billion in revenue, and the Australian government only got 2.
Uh-huh.
Then every Aussie punter who saw it shared it. It got 1 million views, and then it got taken down.
Yep. And?
Yeah, nah. But who wouldn't want Aussies knowing that if we just taxed our mining resources like Qatar or Norway, we'd be the richest citizens in the world? Oh.
There it is.
Let me tell you, Australia, it's better when you wake up. Where am I? Is this where I am here? Can't tell anymore. Yep, there you go. Anywho, we're going to repost that one. Andy No said a videographer is met by the border guards at UCLA's pro-Gaza encampment in the middle of the public campus. They use physical force to prevent his freedom of movement and admit they're hiding their identities to try and escape accountability. Okay, you ready to hear this?
Okay, so I have video of me speaking to the liaison over there. Well, actually not speaking to the liaison, rather. They wouldn't talk to me, but I did, however, talk to the police over here, and they told me that I am free to walk in as I please. So I'm just going to scoot on by. You can't do that, dude. It's public property. It's public property. I'm free to walk in. Yes, for sure.
For the general safety of the students, I understand what you're saying.
And it's law that I'm allowed to go in.
I understand, but students here...
I'm not going to harm anyone.
I know, it's just about to do with doxing and safety of students who are being suspended.
But it's public property. If they didn't want to get suspended, they probably shouldn't do something they're not supposed to do on public property.
What are they not supposed to do?
Well, why are you afraid of them getting suspended?
Because students are being doxed. It's happening regularly.
But why would that get them suspended?
Because they're being persecuted for their views.
Right. Okay, so I have video of me speaking to the liaison over there. Oh.
Okay, because half of them don't attend the university. Antifa. Bruce Ballou said FBI's Patriot Front outdoing FBI staff. As much as I disagree with them, they won't burn, loot or take anyone out, unlike BLM and Antifa. Here they are marching down the street again. Yeah, I don't know that many groups that are that organised to protest like that. Andy No said extremist Muslims held an Islamist rally in Hamburg, Germany on April 27th to call for Islamic revolutions to create a caliphate? Apparently. Allegedly. Okay. There's a video, you know. Who knows? But I'm sure they are. Big Bird said, I thought China was a threat, Albo. You are serving Australia's best interests, aren't you? You don't want to suppress social media to keep info from getting to people. On your Mel Gibson, listen to this from many years ago.
It's interesting, you know, there was one time when Mel actually got in touch with us to be interviewed. It was during a federal election, I think 1987. Now, he said he was so upset about where Australia was heading. This was a very different Mad Max.
Questions about this foreign debt and where this foreign debt's coming from. You get hold of this foreign debt to get us out of trouble, and then they have something called foreign aid, which is, it'd be okay if it was feeding starving children or something, but it's not. They're giving many millions to countries like Red China, North Vietnam, South Korea, to develop steel industries. And they give this money to them interest-free. But you know who has to pay the interest on that money? The Australian taxpayer has to pay the interest on that money. And to add insult to injury, they are creating industries in competition with our own steel industry. Now, they're telling us from both sides to be more productive, stick together, get in front, be more productive, get ahead again, and at the same time, they're slipping a quid overseas to make sure that they successfully stifle our own industries.
You're obviously hot under the collar.
I am damn hot under the collar, and I care about this nation.
There you go, Mel Gibson.
It's interesting, you know, there was one time...
Wow, that was back in the 80s. Elwood Blues said white people will be erased from the face of the earth within 150 years. We will be outbred into isolated communities, persecuted, and will eventually die out entirely when human society regresses to the level of the 18th century. Because that's what's going to happen if they keep going. Polly Bard said, what a great time to be building a $200 billion rail loop without a business case, hey? Herald Sun says the Allen government will be forced to fork out billions to bail out the state's cash-strapped hospitals, many of which face cutting staff and frontline services just to survive, insiders have revealed. This is the lady who took over Daniel Andrews in Victoria, and she's too busy trying to build a $200 billion rail loop when they need when they need money for the hospitals. Well, let's see what happens there. PWH's Team Australia said, totally fuck you, Albo MP, this $100 million. And yesterday a further $161 million on a useless spreadsheet, political posturing spreadsheet on firearm ownership. You are a nation-wrecking blight on this country. Worst PM in our history. Because now they're spending $100 million and a further $161 million on a spreadsheet for firearm ownership. How does that cost you $100 million? I can do it for like $100, you bloody idiot. I could set up a spreadsheet, right? Oh my God. Oh, anyway. It costs $261 million so far to get a spreadsheet happening for people who own guns. See, this is what happens. They do this and then it gets leaked out and then people get their houses broken into. And guess what the only thing they steal is? Those firearms. Tim JBO said, flashback for February 2022, Albo MP ignores thousands of anti-vaccine protesters at rally at Parliament House chanting, tell the truth. These people need to just go home, said Albo. What did I put that in here for? Anyway.
From the opposition leader.
These people need to just go home.
This is Newsnight.
Thanks for your company this Saturday evening. It's just gone 10 p.m. in the east, 7 p.m. here in the west, and wild scenes have erupted outside Parliament House. The building...
There you go. That was, yeah. He didn't turn up at that one. But he turned up at the Women's March. Watch what happens. Rebel News said anti-Israel protesters at the Fashion Institute of Technology don't seem to know what's going on. Ezra spoke with a group of pro-Hamas supporters who stormed into the lobby of the Fashion Institute of Technology and set up a camp similar to the one at Columbia. So we got more Chaz Chop going on. The group is demanding the Institute cut all ties with Israel, but it seems that many of the kids outside really didn't have a clue what was going on. Ezra spoke his mind on the intellectual laziness of the responses of many students. What's different about these protesters is they don't have much to say. Slogans that are typically written by the organisers are all they have. They delegate their thinking to a few spin doctors. I find that not only civically irresponsible, but I think it gives the game away. These are just thrill hunters. They are just people moving with the pack, looking for a sense of purpose and community, and finding it in this snake oil being served up by woke extremists on the left, and in some cases foreign-funded agitators. The protests blocked many students and professors from being able to go to class at the university, which one student told Ezra is very expensive, one professor said. Listen, I'm all about free speech, but this is something else. You're taking over an institution and you're preventing people from working, and it's obviously it's not your property, so it's trespassing. Yeah, well, let's talk about this, because it is. And then when you are blocking streets and preventing people from getting to work, and hospitals, might I add, on climate change protests, then that's a problem too. It needs to be dealt with. Arrest them all. Hey, they had no problem trying to arrest us when we were marching for freedom. Rep. Jim Jordan said indicting former chiefs of staff and lawyers for President Trump is banana republic craziness. What happened to our country? Because they're indicting former chiefs of staff and lawyers for Trump now. Then you got this one from Thomas Massey. I see why am I when no one would debate this congressman trying to have his viral moment. I stepped up and gave him the cold hard facts about gun-free zones and how to make our students safer. And do you think he listened? Let's have a listen.
Children at all. Cowards. Pressure them. Force them to respond to the question, why the hell won't you do anything to save America's children? And let them explain that all the way up until Election Day on 2024. Let them explain it all the way up to Election Day on 2024. They're freaking cowards. They're gutless. They're not here. I'm talking about gun violence.
You know, there's never been
I'm talking about gun violence.
in a school that allows teachers to carry.
Carry guns?
Would you
More guns lead to more death. More guns lead to more death. Look at the data. You're not looking at any data. You're carrying the water for the gun lobby. Look at the data. More guns lead to more deaths. Guns, states that have open carry laws have more death. States that have open carry laws have more death. Are you listening to what I'm saying? That's one question of.
Sorry, but oh shit, where'd it go? What happened there? Oh my god, hang on a sec, guys. Okay, not only, look, just because you speak loud does not mean you're right. And the data that he's talking about, it actually shows there's more gun violence in non-open carry and like Democrat cities. There's more violence. And this man thinks that if he just keeps talking loud, and he's very over-emotional, so he's letting the emotions get the better of him. He's thinking if he's loud enough, he's going to be right, but he's not.
The solution is not arming teachers. Have you ever worked in a school? 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 Listen, yes or no question. Have you ever worked in a school? You will not answer my question. Don't stop and talk to me. Okay, I'll bring it down a notch.
All right, folks.
Have you ever worked in the school?
I've got a bill to repeal the
I
federal...
worked in the school for 20 years.
You're just screaming.
I was a teacher. I was screaming before you came and interrupted me. I worked in the school for 20 years. I worked in the school 20 years.
In every school,
I was a teacher. I was a school counselor. I was a middle school principal. I was in cafeterias protecting kids every day of my career.
There's never been a shooting. Never been a shooting. It's time. Look, we've got guns here to protect us. And we believe the kids should have somebody to protect them. Every school that's allowed it has never had a shooting. Not even an accidental discharge at any of the schools. So.
Yeah, that was pretty interesting. Like, he just, got in front of the guy, too, trying to speak louder and over the top of him. And even when the guy walked away, Obviously, it's Thomas Massey. Even when Thomas Massey walked away, the other guy had to come and stand in front of him and yell louder. Josephine Cashman said he scripted. He's a useful idiot actor for his supremacist cult handlers. These repulsive psychopaths play a role as a part of a pre-planned WEF UN campaign called 50-50 by 2030. As we sit on the front line, we witness the deployment of strategy of tension tactics in this psychological war theatre we're living in. As a device to bring in the supremacy cult's New World Order, New Atlantis utopia, they need to divide us. It's only about the victim they select, those they can use for their agenda. We can see these clowns' concerns are phony. If they cared, they would call out Bill Shorten for his abuse of power, which saw his child rape charges just disappear. Seeing the inconvenient female victim being silenced, what a disgusting hypocrites they are. Expose these traitors. And it's in response to Craig Foster saying misogyny is dangerous. Violence comes from cultural attitudes. You know what? Stop importing it. Sorry. Yeah, I agree with this guy, Daniel, who said, "Hi Craig, would you care to list any of the cultures which overwhelmingly exhibit such cultural attitudes? Please be specific." And then you've got award-winning coach Felicia Killings. The Babylon Bee, sad college students so caught up harassing Jews he forgot about term paper on inclusion. Okay, I meme, therefore I am. Students taking over Yale grounds. As a little commie waves Palestinian flag, the crowd applauds and chants, "Shut it now." Well, I don't know, this looks like an occupation to me. Craig Kelly said 40-storey apartment blocks coming to the suburbs. Keep voting Liberal or Labor, with their, doesn't matter which way you put it, with their policies of turbo migration and the destructive insanity of net zero, and this is the future you will bequeath your children and grandchildren. And I've been trying to tell people for years, they want you in little apartments, in little cubicles in the city, right? You will not be able to leave. Towers as tall as 40 stories coming to Melbourne suburbs, Australia. This is what you got to look forward to, guys, unless you stand up and say something. Tom Fitton said left mandates inflation. Since September, when California moved to require large fast food chains to bump up their minimum hourly pay to $20 in April, fast food and fast casual restaurants there have increased prices by 10% overall. Trying to keep up. Gunther Eagleman said they truly do not understand. No, they don't. Because love, look, see you later, go over there, and look what happens. How it began and how it ended, they ripped it all down. Look, they'll just, you know, I'll pay for them to go and fight over there. Okay, the Committee of 300, the destruction and control of America and the world, the depopulation of millions of innocent people, the public execution of President John F. Kennedy, the control of US elections and elections around the world, the release of AIDS and deadly viruses. This is going to have to be one on its own. Okay, Larry Cook said feds, fake, prep for false, FFs. Wall Street Silver said this is supposedly a video of Patriot Front members being arrested. When do police not unmask people in custody? This was perhaps staged by the FBI and police to give street cred to Patriot Front. Yes, I believe it. Really? Yeah, right. Actors, the lot. And Tracy, now this is Albo MP who, here, right? Who went to a women's march for women, violence against women. And in this he says, smash her. Now listen.
The only way the member for Ballarat can actually get a member for Ballarat. Smash. On a point of order. Thank you.
Did you hear that?
In order for the member to be relevant, the member for Ballarat. Smash. On a point of order. Thank you. In order for the member for Ballarat. Smash. On a point of order. Thank you. The only way the member for Ballarat can actually get a
How disgusting. going to a women's march for violence against women. Okay, apparently there was a mass shooting again. 3 officers shot in Kenner, Louisiana. Suspect also wanted for shooting 3 other people. You won't hear about it. Man's black. PWH Team Australia. Hey, ABC News, do you think PM telling the world what a good... what a good fuck his partner is the right example the country needs to in respect to women? Australians versus the agenda. Breaking. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese, 61, says the secret to his successful relationship with Jodie Hayden is good sex. I don't think he has it with Jodie. I think he gets it from someone else. I think someone gives it to him, actually. Andrew T5159, a record 7,747 companies hit the wall in the first 9 months of this financial year, according to last weekend's Australian paper. Well done, Albo. Yeah, Albo has broken 7,747 companies. And they will be small companies, they will not be large ones. I'm waiting for the large ones to feel it. That's sad. They're all little companies, little, like... Corporation lives on. Mike Jagger said all lives matter, except white lives. All men are bad, only white guys. Bunce number 23, when you know where the narrative is heading. For this new all men are bad movement only refers to white men. And they're important most of it. And they're importing most of it. And it's not, but they're blaming white men anyway. See, they do this. They let all these people in. There's a rise in violence against women, right? Because some of these places where people are coming from don't respect women at all. In fact, they beat them in the streets. I've watched someone get stoned yesterday. Literally, not smoking stoned. I mean, with rocks thrown at them. Okay? A woman. Okay? You really want to let them in? Okay, fine. Have it your way. Face the consequences. Cat Turd said, here comes the Biden regime's cheating scheme. Breaking 911 said Secret of State, Anthony Blinken, says there's evidence that China's attempting to interfere in our elections. I'm surprised they're not telling you Russia is. Elon Musk says he knows what he's talking about. Visegrad24 says 7 years ago the UAE's foreign minister issued a warning to the West. And his words now sound prophetic. And in here he says he's going to speak English, and the news media says, oh, we've got translators. And he goes, no, I want you to get it right. Listen.
And let me say this in English so you can understand what I'm saying.
I have translation.
No, I know you have translation, but I just want to make sure you get it right. There will come a day that we will see far more radical extremists and terrorists coming out of Europe because of the lack of decision-making, trying to be politically correct, or assuming that they know the Middle East and they know Islam and they know the others far better than we do. And I'm sorry, but that's pure ignorance. And
there you go. Craig Kelly said even though the official Albo meme C-Day is over, the great entries keep coming in. It just proves that despite the woke left's best efforts, the Australian larrikin spirit lives on. Memes, there's Albo, how dare you? Yep, dressed up as Greta. Or Albo's head on Greta's shoulders. Andrew Meaden said the Prime Minister of Australia lied to his country today. Nothing new here, he does it every day. The organiser of Sunday's rally in Canberra protesting violence against women has let loose on the Prime Minister in a furious post to social media, claiming he lied to Australians and abused his power. What did he say? What did she say? He said. He said, she said. You know, they all say. The organiser of a rally protesting violence against women's let loose on the Prime Minister, claiming he showed entitlement and abused his power to diminish a vulnerable young woman. In his speech in the afternoon, Mr Albanese suggested he had asked the rally organisers for permission to speak but had been knocked back. We did ask to speak, myself and Finance Minister Katie Gallagher, and we were told that's not possible, he said to the 5,000 strong crowd. And that's fine, we respect the organisers' right to do that. But Sarah Williams, writing to social media after the event, said Mr Albanese had lied, and she called him out right then and there. She called him out right then and there. It's on video, and he made her cry. Ben Bergquam, Real America's Voice, asking the question, why is the election of President Trump so important not just to America, but for Romania and Europe? Make Europe great again. Bucharest, Romania, with the president of the Alliance for the Union of Romanians, George Nicole Simeon. Okay, let's have a listen to what he has to say. I know I've shared this for a reason. Let me go back. There we go.
Okay, George, we met in Washington, D.C. at CPAC. Now I'm honored to be here with you at the Make Europe Great Again event.
It's our honor to have you as a guest, and it's important for us to have people from the States, from South America, and all 27 states of the United Europe.
So the question is, how important is President Trump? I'm seeing this pattern here, not just to America, but to the rest of the world, in particular to Europe. The election's coming up in November for President of the United States.
It's very important because you must keep your demons in the United States and fight them and crush them, because if you let them out and if they don't have any problems in the United States, they will come after us, destroying Western Europe, destroying Eastern Europe, destroying the civilization as we know it. There are heavy fighting between globalists and patriots all over the world, and for us, the Trump victory means the patriotic victory in the future for our Europe and for our world.
Who would you say is the biggest threat, or what would you say is the biggest threat that you face now as Romanians, and what can be done about it? Politically,
we experienced communism, now we have this open society, globalism, Satanism. It's a fight between God and Satan, and we must be on the good side of history and with the forces of good.
Amen.
Amen, brother.
Look, the world needs Trump, right? Seriously. If America goes, we're all going. I'm telling you that right now. If America goes, we are all going down. Old Soldier said, liar in the lodge. Logical Australian said, perhaps I'm not seeing things correctly, but the woman to the right of the frame seems quite emotional, this lady here. So did the Prime Minister make a woman cry at a violence against women rally? Judge for yourself. Let's have a listen to what, and I'll make it big so you can see exactly what happened.
And just as I left Parliament House during the demonstration that was held a couple of years ago, I'm proud to be here with women, men, boys and girls saying we want violence against women and children to stop.
That's right.
To be clear, we did ask to speak, myself and Katie, and we're told that that wasn't possible, and that's fine. I respect the organisers' right to do that.
That's a full-out lie.
To do that. We're here today to demand that governments of all levels must do better, including my own, including every state and territory government.
Exposure 28.
We're here as well to say that society and Australia must do better. We need to change the culture, we need to change attitudes.
Well, he wants Australia to change the culture now. He's going to blame white men when he's importing the freaking problem.
We need to change the legal system. We need to change the approach by all governments. Because it's not enough to support victims. We need to focus on the perpetrators and focus on prevention.
And he's not going to do it. He's there just to virtue signal. He's got his little list of what he has to read off in front of him. This is the other lady behind him, Katie Gallagher, just as bad as he is. And this poor woman over here is crying because they said they weren't invited, and she said that's a lie. She called it out then and there. I don't know what he's trying to do, but it's making him worse. Oh my God. Matt Wallace said breaking police have officially launched an investigation into this man after overwhelming pressure on X. Every single one of you who helped make it go viral is a hero. Apparently he was, I don't know, doing something weird to a child. Caught on camera. Here's a disturbing video about it on Rumble. Dude needs to be locked up and keys tossed. Should never be near a child again. Okay, so there you go. There's another one. True Science says NASA's been naughty. I updated the graphic with current TSI data. The fact that NASA still has this on their website is downright fraudulent. The temperature going up, and it's actually, this is how it's going. Oh, temperature versus solar activity. Okay, and the temperature is the red, the solar activity is down, when actually temperature is up, solar activity. What's going on? I can't read what the difference is. Hang on. Okay. Oh. This is what it does. Okay. Real average here. Okay. So they're trying to just, you know, that hockey stick. Ryan Fournier said breaking missiles have just been fired from Iraq towards US installation in Syria. This was like 7 days ago. Okay. So that is it for today. Let me know what you think about this down below. It's weird stuff going on. I'm sure there's other stuff going on that I'm missing because somehow I think things are being hidden from me and I don't know why. Maybe because I'm in Australia and the censorship is already working, maybe? I don't know. Maybe. And I've got a few other big ones to go into, which I will probably get into. I'm going to have tomorrow off because I have to go and have my back cracked again. And we'll be back my Wednesday morning, which will be your Tuesday in most places. Okay, guys, have a good morning, afternoon, or evening, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye, guys.